Welcome to Your Good News. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. This is a show dedicated to nothing but things that will make you smile or at least help you find hope and faith in humanity. The world is a rough place, don't we know that right now? And sometimes we just need to hear some of the good things going on. Well, when most of us go to the grocery store, it's all about getting groceries. Not so for the boy you're about to meet in Faribault. Boyd Huppert shows us how his visit comes down to feeding the soul.
I'm so excited to see the strawberries at the blend.
Raising a child with autism is fun and frolicking.
All right, smoothie cups.
And frustrating.
Odin. He can be very, very loud. He repeats the same phrases 50 to 70 times over and over and over.
Taylor Casanova has a home filled with sensory strategies for 5-year-old Odin.
Like, we tell him he just has extra wiggles. Got to get the wiggles out.
You ready, Ma?
And when Odin's mom has exhausted all her strategies at home,
Let's get in the van.
there's this.
We're going to Fairway. Odin, come here.
Odin doesn't dawdle into Faribault's Fairway.
I'm going this way.
He's a young man on a mission.
His favorite thing to do, probably in the world.
Odin's mom knows better than to even suggest
We have this.
taking him to Aldi, Target, or Hy-Vee.
I mean, he's not this excited when we go to the pool.
Oh, there it is.
Pools don't have produce,
Haley!
nor do they have Odin's people.
Hi, honey. How are you today?
Odin invited Haley O to his birthday party. She came,
Not every day my customers are that happy to see me, right?
and not just Haley,
Hi.
but Odin
Hi, Jay.
still hasn't found his best Fairway friend.
You have a good one there. You behave yourself.
Maynard Abraham is one of Fairway's oldest employees.
Okay, we're going to the left, we're going to the right. Hey, Nina.
Easier to stop a sneeze than coming between Maynard and this.
How we doing, buddy? You doing good?
Yeah.
You ready? You help me bake some groceries?
There's 2 peas in a pod.
Hey, you guys stay here, buddy.
When Taylor picks up Odin at school, first thing,
He asked to see Maynard, specifically.
Like this, buddy.
Every day.
she snapped this photo the day Odin made Maynard a birthday card.
And I think that was the first time Maynard let him hug him.
You ask her, is she having a good day?
You have a good day.
Maynard couldn't care less about Odin's autism.
God didn't make nobody perfect, you know.
Maynard and Odin
Yep.
just seem to get each other.
Root beer. I like root beer.
Do you?
Yeah. Waffles. I like waffles too.
It is very tough having a kid with autism, for sure. But this is like one of the bright spots.
Fairway. Come for the food.
I'm so excited.
Stay
I am too.
for the therapy.
We'll bake some more.
Boyd Huppert, Carol 11 News,
You're my buddy.
Faribault.
Taylor Casanova says she brought home some Aldi applesauce once and her son wouldn't eat it. That's how loyal Odin is to his friends at Fairway. Well, the weight of grief and loss can be overwhelming. One local woman is using what she's learned from coping with grief to help others in a very profound way. We first introduced you to the mother-son duo behind the Growing Mission back in June. Now here's an update on their journey.
We will wait until the room fills up more and then we'll get started.
The rush of the holidays is fading,
Hi, welcome.
but in Becker,
Those can go over there for now.
Taylor List and her little helpers
This is 40.
are assembling, sorting, and packing hundreds of gifts
The locket's over here, honey.
you won't find on anyone's wish list.
What you're doing today makes an impact.
The impact of losing a loved one
Who has experienced grief?
and the grief that accompanies it can be difficult to describe
So who wants to help still?
and harder to endure
All right.
alone.
Let's get our grown-ups and let's get started.
But Taylor hopes these packages and the village it takes to make them
It's like an assembly line.
can speak volumes all on their own.
Tell them one of each color. Most of our volunteers have experienced grief.
Kids and their parents,
Volunteering this time of year is good and it's something different.
and even their grandparents
Good life lessons they'll carry with them.
working together to create care packages for people who've lost or are saying goodbye to their loved ones in hospice care.
One with the matching color puzzle piece. Grief can come in many different ways, and it can be a lot.
Overwhelming grief is what Taylor felt as she helped care for her best friend Kelly, who lost her life 2 years ago to a rare cancer.
Thank you for helping.
That pain led Taylor here.
Look at you go. You're getting it done. We made 300 grief care packages tonight. It's amazing what's going on in our communities. A grief journal.
At her dinner table last year,
A little poem.
when we first introduced you to Taylor and her son Ezekiel,
A stress ball.
as they worked to assemble and deliver dozens of care packages in honor of Kelly. And during this year's holiday season,
Do you want to carry this box?
Yes, please.
Taylor, Ezekiel, and his sister Athena are still making deliveries,
Let's put that one on here.
100.
but this time
We have over 100.
with many more to fulfill orders from hospitals and clinics across the state.
I think we're going that way.
And after months of work and support from various organizations, Taylor has launched a nonprofit called Grieving Angels.
Can I put this down right here?
We're grieving angels because the people we grieve were angels to us.
From personalized journals
I can engrave handwritten notes.
to children's books on grief
My favorite stuffy because it's a panda.
or different comfort items like eye masks and lip balms.
Because I feel like it's special to people.
The goal is to help anyone experiencing a profound loss.
When you give them one, it's like someone cares what they're feeling. Someone knows how they feel.
What we're doing, it can be simple, but it can also be so extremely powerful.
The power, Taylor says, not only lies within these packages, but also in the lessons learned.
This is Ezekiel. He's my son.
Starting right at home with her very first volunteer.
He's donating his birthday to charity today.
Is? It's your birthday today? Happy birthday.
It's not exactly how most 11-year-olds would choose to spend their birthdays,
I've done this for 2 years now.
but Ezekiel is making it a tradition.
Do you know how important this is? Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
You should be very proud of yourself. Some of these patients, it's the hardest moments of their life.
Michaela Rodriguez sees the effects of grief every day.
Kindness and love go a long way.
About 100 volunteers, 54 of them were kids.
So as this season of giving comes to a close and the holiday lights dim,
We're taking our grief and we're transforming it into compassion and into love that we can share.
this family hopes the memory of their own angel
She would love it. She would love what we're doing.
can illuminate others' darkest times.
But she's always with you right there. Yep.
There are exactly 856 incorporated cities in the state of Minnesota, and one man made it his mission to visit every single one of them. Ian Russell talked to him about why he did it and what he learned on his journey from Ada to Zumbrota.
Across Minnesota, there are thousands of places to see and things to do.
There are so many things to do in Minnesota.
Most of us will never see it all, but most of us aren't Seth Varner.
It was a crazy project last year.
Seth is a full-time travel author, visiting 5 other states before ours.
I've been to every town in Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, Kansas, North Dakota.
Thousands of towns, now adding all 850 plus of Minnesota's to his list.
It was late February. I'd visited the first towns of Steen and Hills and some of those Southwest communities. I spent so much time in Minnesota. I was having so much fun.
From Ada?
Ada would have been around May or June.
To Zumbrota.
Zumbrota would have actually been mid-October, I believe.
And literally everywhere in between.
2 harbors, Park Rapids, Grand Marais. People actually asked if I did them in alphabetical order. I did not. It would have been a little too many extra miles to get all that done.
If a picture's worth 1,000 words,
120,000 different pictures of Minnesota.
Then these pictures could fill a novel.
There is a lot of stories that deserve to be told, and like these towns should be celebrated.
Seth spent countless hours researching each town, finding things to do and enjoy, documenting every step on his Facebook page.
Hey, I'm going to like the Heron Lake area. Like, I need the best restaurants. I want to hear about your historic sites. Like, anyone want to show me the museum or a business or any of this stuff?
Proving that we're way more than the land of 10,000 lakes.
Flyover country, like, I feel like it couldn't be further from the truth, because it's like, as you actually go to these places and talk to these people, you'll find that every town has a story that deserves to be shared, and every town deserves to be celebrated.
In Minnesota, Ian Russell, KARE 11 News.
Seth says he has a lot of favorite places in our state, but what stood out the most was a woman named Carissa who runs a coffee shop in Foley, about 60 miles north of the Twin Cities. Carissa's shop uses a portion of proceeds to support cancer treatment for her brother, Jameson. Still ahead, meeting some Minnesota Olympians and one hoping to be. But first, here's some of your good news that you shared with us this week. Leslie Kennedy says, in addition to the holidays, we were also able to celebrate my daughter's wedding in Denver.
Very cool.
So much joy. What a beautiful family.
Yeah.
Congratulations to everyone.
Holidays too? Very
Yeah, what a fun time to get married. John and Carol sent in this pic. This handsome polyphemus moth just showed up in our sunroom. I had to look it up. I had never heard of that before. Poor timing, though, to emerge from his cocoon for the only lived for about a week or so. We are admiring him, taking many pictures, and enjoying how he just clings to our hands so willingly. How cool is that?
Yeah, look at the decoration on that.
I know.
Wild.
The animal world is beautiful and strange. And Gren Hughes says our cat Loki, who is an indoor cat and really quite a softie, made a friend over the holidays. He met a giant outdoor rabbit, which we call Bunny. Seems like a good name for a rabbit, doesn't it?
Sure.
Every day, Loki waits patiently by our patio door for Bunny's visit and likes to watch him eat a bunch of food that we put out for the birds. They are quickly becoming good friends, and watching their interaction brings a smile to everyone who sees them.
Very cool.
Loki and Bunny, we appreciate it. Welcome back. We are weeks away from the Winter Olympics, and now our journey to Milan is taking us to Richfield, where two Olympic teammates also happen to be roommates. Danny Casper and Ben Richardson are two key members of the U.S. men's curling team. They have trained and played together for years. But perhaps it's the living together part that may have forged the strongest bond, which appears to play to their advantage both on and off the ice. Morgan Wolf has their story.
The flag on the door might be a giveaway for who lives behind it. Danny Casper isn't a concert pianist, but a curler.
That's all I got.
And his roommate Ben is too.
When is the last time that you played that?
Both moved to Minnesota to curl.
We moved here because we wanted to be in the best place for competitive curling, and this Minneapolis area is definitely the best place.
It's been super cool, like just kind of out here, living with my pal, curling, going to the Olympics, like what a life.
But not always an easy life. In 2024, Danny developed a rare condition where his body's immune system attacks the nerves. Ben helped him on his hardest days. And though he's not 100% back to normal, the two put their hearts into the trials, pulling off an upset, sweeping aside America's most accomplished curler, John Schuster, and his team. Team Casper is a formidable opponent going into the games for even the toughest teams. And when they're not practicing curling, they're watching it.
I'll often put it on the TV.
Well, at least Ben does.
Yeah, it's like when your girlfriend or something is watching like one of those like reality shows, and you're just like, I don't want to know what's going on though.
Curling is their passion.
I'm a renewal operations analyst.
But both do have jobs.
I don't know if it's something that we really think about all the time, but I don't know. Every once in a while, if we win, I'm kind of like, like we just beat a team and it's their job, and like, you know, I work at a car dealership all day, and like we just beat them, so take that.
The Olympic Games.
Their excitement is building for the competition.
2026.
But more so just for the Olympic experience, especially with their families in attendance.
I really think there's going to be a lot of valuable lessons from other athletes in any sport.
Danny and Ben say it was lucky timing that it worked out for them to be roommates here. And they're not only friends with Team Schuster, but John Schuster actually helped get Danny a job here in Minnesota. Well, it is a big week for a Paralympic hopeful from Minnesota. Max Nelson beat the odds to become the youngest Nordic skier on Team USA just 4 years ago. But this time, it's not just battling the competition. Here's our Kent Erdl.
World-class Nordic skiers are no strangers to setbacks.
You're right, Max.
Especially those that compete while visually impaired.
That way, Max.
Every challenge that comes my way, I just give it the best I can, and that's all I can do.
Max Nelson doesn't even remember his first major challenge.
It was hard to know that he wasn't really seeing anything.
But his parents will never forget it.
His retinas were detaching.
An extremely rare genetic eye disease led to more than 10 surgeries before before Max's 3rd birthday, and despite emerging with severely limited sight in just one eye, it never slowed him down.
He's been skiing since he's been in 1st grade. I remember his first race, his guide didn't show up, but he still skied it. And John would run around the race to make sure he wouldn't get off the track.
I was in moon boots and not in the shape to do a 5K on a golf course in snow.
He needed like an oxygen tank.
By the age of 17, Max blew away his own expectations, becoming the youngest member of Team USA to compete at the Beijing Paralympics.
I raced the best athletes in the world, and I kind of got demolished by them, and I knew that I needed a lot of work.
No pain today?
Nope.
But after 3 years of putting in that work,
I was getting these really bad headaches.
a CT scan last March revealed a new challenge.
That's when we found out that I had a brain tumor.
A tumor that was both cancerous and impossible to fully remove.
If you think about a tumor as a hand, we can go in and take out the palm of the hand, but the fingers are still there.
I am crying.
After surgery at Children's Minnesota, Max spent weeks simply trying to regain movement and speech. But little by little, he began to improve. And after 6 weeks, he finally stood with assistance.
There wasn't a dry eye.
It was the first of many happy tears
Good job, Max.
as they watched Max get moving at Courage Kenny Institute.
Great to see you. How are you?
While also enrolling in a promising vaccine trial at Children's Minnesota
Pull my hands up.
to keep the cancer
Now push me away.
at bay.
Good. No, I don't see any areas of tumor growing back.
Okay.
And whatever remains certainly hasn't slowed him down. Max resumed competition this winter
How many races?
4.
and rejoins Paralympic qualifying in Germany this week.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yes.
He's not the only one.
The fact that you're doing it is just, it blows all of us away.
Joy. Pure joy.
Making the team will be a challenge, but he knows
I couldn't do anything.
he's already
So
won.
the fact that I'm able to even ski is a miracle.
Still to come, a Land of 10,000 Stories update, a tug of war for a good cause, and Grow with Care bloopers. But first, here's more of your good news that you shared with us this week. Randy and Karen Hike sent in these beautiful pictures from the trip to the Caribbean last week. That one was from a garden on St. Kitts. They say that we also visited Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park.
Wow.
They saw 2 beautiful sunsets, one as they were leaving San Juan. And then, of course, this is the last night with my wonderful wife, he says, having a glass of wine.
Looks like a fun time.
How cute are they? Welcome back. A good friend from the Land of 10,000 Stories recently left us. Tom Cornish volunteered for service during World War II, then kept volunteering. Boyd Hupert met Tom during a cold COVID winter, the perfect time of year to capture the spirit of a man with a warm heart.
As a COVID winter transitions back toward spring,
I know about snow.
Tom Cornish
Used to plow for the city of Bloomington.
patiently plows ahead. A volunteer whose work is never done.
This is a hook. This is a loom.
A volunteer with a hat underway.
That's the brim.
And a volunteer brimming with a service mindset dating back to the 1940s.
That's me.
When fresh out of high school, Tom volunteered for World War II.
Don't I look like that?
Back from the Pacific, Tom kept volunteering in a variety of roles as he raised 5 kids with Lorraine.
If somebody needs something, give it to them.
Then volunteered even more when he married Marvel after Lorraine's passing, till Marvel's death left Tom alone again, volunteering.
Volunteering does something to a person. You're working for others.
Not just talk.
This is warmth.
Warmth.
Oh, that's wool.
From a Navy man.
20%.
Now legendary with the Salvation Army.
Last year he donated 400 hats.
Yeah, 400.
My goal is 1 a day.
1 hat a day, but sometimes as many as 3.
There's people here that want me to sell them to them, but I won't. I give them to the Salvation Army.
These are some of Tom's Salvation Army hats, now warming others.
It goes to show people that there's something that everyone can do.
Even 96-year-olds.
This is how he got to be 96 years old. because he's helping everybody else.
Jerry Cornish is Tom's son.
Everybody's more important than he is in his mind.
Now, where would Tom get a notion like that?
I feel that I'm working for the Lord. And that's a good feeling.
Not content with 400 hats, Tom has taken to training others at Champlain Shores to contribute their own.
That one woman, she made more than 35 hats.
Tom Cornish, there for his country at 18, and still not putting a cap on his service.
Gotta stay ahead of the Army.
Boyd Ebert, KARE 11 News, Champlain.
It's been nearly 5 years since that story aired, but Tom didn't stop knitting. He knitted nearly up to the end. Tom's family estimates that he made 2,000 hats for the Salvation Army before he died just before Christmas at 101 years old. Tom's son told Boyd knitting those hats gave his dad a purpose and most certainly extended his life. Well, two Twin Cities along the St. Croix River held a massive tug-of-war competition, and as Raya Katene shows, it's all for a good cause.
As you can see from this sign behind me, there was a change of venue for this year's border battle, but the winners stayed the same.
That's right. Green Bay Packers fans once again won this year's Border Battle Tug of War, a tradition that was born last year, bringing together Vikings and Packers fans in a massive yet friendly competition in support of local first responders associations. The second annual charity event was moved to Hudson, Wisconsin this year after MnDOT denied the organizers a permit to host it on the Stillwater Lift Bridge where it was held last year. The competition takes place ahead of the big rivalry football game, but unlike what happens on the football field, both of these teams have the same objective, supporting first responders. Between spectators and registered rope pullers, organizers of the event estimate roughly 200 people showed up, raising about $8,000. 60% of proceeds will go to the winning side's first responders and 40% to the other side. Beneficiaries include police, fire, and EMT departments from Hudson, North Hudson, St. Joseph Township, Stillwater, and Bayport.
Those are just our community members, our friends, our neighbors that help us out when there's problems. And we want to respect, of course we respect them, but we also want to encourage them and know that they have our support.
Organizers Corey Bittner and Ethan Gilmore say the event will definitely be back next year. Where it will be will depend on the NFL schedule and permit approvals. In Hudson, Raya Katene, KARE 11 News.
Let's end with something fun. Every week, Grow with Care brings us simple solutions to problems stumping gardeners and fresh ideas to brighten up our yards. But this week, we're delivering content to brighten up your mood. Check out Laura and Bobby's best bloopers of 2025.
You're not going to have one blooper this year. Okay, one of the...
This might be our worst one.
This is...
Oh,
what's going on with my hands? There it is.
It's going to be the worst thinking ever. Posted this video.
Start that over. I was winking at that lady.
We're in the Rose Garden at the Arboretum.
At the Arboretum, boom laka laka. So specifically, if you want blue color, beluga. Beluga.
There you go. You know a bunch about mushrooms?
It's a little long, Laura. Even more gooder than the last one. Watching your fireplace. Would you stop that?
Why can't I do it?
All right, I got you.
Don't put that on a blooper reel.
Oh, why can't you put it on a blooper reel? Are you yelling at me and punching me?
The cold. Shut. The cold of the process.
Wait a minute, I was staring at you. Go. Harvest milkweed seeds. Please.
So you want to be more efficient? How about vertical gardening?
One more time.
What were you doing?
I was bent over and then
I was like, is this intentional or did we make a mistake?
No, I was bent over.
Tiniest residence. That's coming up in Grow with Care.
stole my
I'm sorry.
line.
Look, I'm a hummingbird.
Wow, that was so cool. There, do it again. Flip-flop
Way to switch it.
in your lawn, which really works out really well. It looks effortless and graceful, kind of like me.
Exactly like you.
Yeah, thanks, kid.
Now let's take a final listen of some of your good news that you shared with us this week. Vicky says, my sister Deb is the creative force in the family, using her talents to restore old, worn-out furniture into something new and fresh. My favorite part, though, is her feline team. You can see them here. Dexter was lost in the neighborhood for about 9 months after they moved into their new house, has since found his way back home, and she and her husband also adopted a couple of cats, a brother and a sister, that had spent their lives living in a cage. They have since thrived, and she says, I'm so proud of her accomplishments.
And look at that, you got the shop supervisor, the office manager.
They have real roles in that. Craig says, I recently retired from the Guthrie Theater as head stagehand after 35 years. I'm very proud of my time of service and duty with people I love, and I made friendships that will last my lifetime. Hey, congrats, Craig. That is a wonderful career. We do hope you enjoy retirement.
Yeah, congrats to 35 years.
Yeah, Paula Tucker says, my niece treated me to a night out. First, it was dinner at Moochie's with a surprise event. It was the Immersive 360 show at the Basilica of St. Mary. The only way to describe it is magical. It certainly took you away from the hard times in our world. Well, that does sound like an absolutely fun night.
Yeah.
What a great niece, too.
What an immersive experience.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for Your Good News. If you'd like to share your good news with us, we do it every day at the end of our 4 p.m. newscast. All you have to do is send us an email to yourgoodnews@kare11.com. Be sure to add pictures or video of whatever it is that you'd like us to share. New baby in the family, maybe your granddaughter got married, maybe you beat cancer or just shared some good times with good friends. We want to hear about it. Well, until we see you again, have an excellent week, friends.